Hey guys, and welcome to another lore video. Today, with Zelda Tears of the Kingdom being the longest game ever, I wanted to explain the ending of the game and summarise what happened throughout the game and what this might mean for the future of the franchise as well, and where the game might go next. If you like in-depth summaries walking you through the events of the game from the start to finish, you can check out my previous video on the channel, which is around 2.5 hours long, so that should fulfill any needs that you have. Many people seem to love that type of content and format, and people even said they liked it to go to sleep to, so go check it out if you want to. I'll leave it linked below. If this video can reach 500 likes, I'll give away a couple of copies of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom as a thank you, and if you stick around to the end of the video, you'll learn exactly how to do that. If we hit 1,000 likes on today's video, I might give away an OLED Switch as well to one of you guys, as just as a thank you for the support on the previous video, so make sure you drop a like down below and stick to the end of the video to find out how. But without further ado, subscribe if you guys are brand new, if you like lore and story content, but let's dive straight in. So before we explain exactly what the ending meant for Zelda and what it could mean going forward, I think we need to spend a short amount of time summarising the entirety of the story. Obviously it won't be a 2.5 hour long video, I will make sure it's a quick walkthrough of the story and to summarise it in a way, but make sure you check the timestamps below if you would rather skip past this, but I would recommend sticking through it to get the full explanation of exactly what happened and why the ending means what it does. The story began with Link and Zelda traversing through the tunnels of Hyrule Castle, where they found a series of ruins from a civilization named the Zonai. When they reached the bottom of the castle, they came across a mummy figure, and when interacting with it, it came to life. This was Ganondorf, and was once known as the Demon King to the land of Hyrule. Ganondorf killed Queen Sonia, the wife of King Rauru, and stole her stone. These were both a part of the Zonai. When Ganondorf stole the stone, this was how he transformed into the Demon King and became as powerful as he did, and was ultimately the reason why Princess Zelda was able to fight with the other sages, but more on this a little bit later. Ganondorf one day just showed up in the desert, and since then stole the stone, killed Sonia, and became what he did. Link was defeated and lost his right arm when they were fighting against Ganondorf at the bottom of the castle, even going to the extent of shattering the Master Sword when the gloom hit the blade. Once Link awoken, he was left something by Princess Zelda. It was the Puripad. But it looked as though the constructs were looking to buy a new PC from Apex Gaming PCs when we turned it over. Well, funny you should say that, because I've partnered with Apex Gaming PCs and can give you guys a really good deal on a brand new system. I love playing through single player and story games to immerse myself in the gameplay and make me feel a part of the world that I'm playing through. Ultimately, that's how you connect to one of those stories, right? And with this in mind, I built 3 custom machines to deliver exactly that. I review my games on them and also play through the stories as well for the videos you watch on the channel. For the mid-tier builds, the specialist rig, to the more higher end builds, the elite rig and the giga rig, there's honestly a build here for any type of gamer, no matter the game, multiplayer or single player, in terms of living through that story or just wanting to have a bit of fun with friends. If you use code Wizzo at checkout, you can save up to $250 off your entire order, and if you do use my code, send me the proof through on Twitter and I'll show you some love and send you over a little thank you towards any new peripherals you might want when getting a new setup. All the links are below in the top of the description. Thank you. During our encounter with the Demon King in the chamber, Princess Zelda fell into the abyss and Link woke a time later with a prosthetic Zonai arm. This belonged once to the once King of Hyrule named Rauru. Rauru was a part of the Zonai civilization and led the first battle against the Demon King with the other 5 sages: Wind, Fire, Water, Lightning, and Spirit. However, with Sonia not being around anymore, the final sage was the Sage of Time, which went to Princess Zelda. The Demon King's power was too strong, and the 5 sages and Rauru back then couldn't defeat him. Therefore, to prevent the Demon King from destroying Hyrule, Rauru sacrificed himself to imprison the Demon King, for one day a noble swordsman named Link would battle against him when he's awoken. This battle, or war, was named the Imprisoning War due to exactly this. And with Princess Zelda having the ability to travel back in time as the Sage of Time, she was informing all of the ancestors of the current sages that a noble swordsman named Link will be essentially there to take down the Demon King, and Rauru even told the Demon King of this when he imprisoned him. Going back to present day, Princess Zelda is missing and we need to find her. We travel to 4 different locations across the map of Hyrule: the Zora, the Gorons, the Gerudo, and the Rito, and each time investigating difficulties they were having caused by a series of sky islands that appeared above their realm. We recruit a member of each tribe and form an army to fight back against the Demon King, just as Rauru did back then. each time however consistently seeing visions of Princess Zelda when we were to obtain these different ancestral stones. At this time it was difficult to understand how Zelda was once in our time and then all the way back then. But of course we didn't know that she travelled back in time and was fighting with them, and those story details came a little bit further on. However, now that we've got the 4 champions ready, we finally feel like we're at the point of traversing the floating islands of Hyrule Castle and come face to face with Princess Zelda, who again we'd spotted in a vision above the castle. It was here that we learned that Princess Zelda actually wasn't present in Hyrule in this time at all, and that it was a trap all set up by the Demon King. The Demon King wanted to lure Link into Hyrule Castle, and to do this, of course, he placed Princess Zelda at the very top, in a place where he knew that they would see, and was waiting for this battle with Link ever since Rauru told him to beware of Link when he imprisoned him. However, once this battle was over, we reflect back and remember that there was one missing sage from the champions, and that was the Sage of Spirit, Minoru. Minoru, the Sage of Spirit, didn't have a bodily form when we found her, and the spirit was actually found to be stored in Princess Zelda's Puripad all of this time. We created a construct for the spirit to fight within, and it was now time to reclaim the Master Sword. Throughout these events, it was made very clear to us that the Master Sword was no longer present in Hyrule, and at the start of the game, it looked as though the sword almost went back through time into the hands of Princess Zelda, which didn't make sense at that time. In the visions of Princess Zelda, back when Hyrule was under Rauru, the sword was presented there broken. The only way for Princess Zelda to restore the sword was for its power to accumulate over a number of years. However, her in her current form would not suffice. Princess Zelda eventually turned into a light dragon, which is the one we see flying around the castle and the one with the Master Sword embedded within. This allowed the Master Sword to fester its power and build its power over time, where she would traverse Hyrule and wait for Link to come and pull the sword out of the mane of the dragon. We were able to finally take the Master Sword from the head of the light dragon, and at that point we moved through the depths of Hyrule Castle to fight the Demon King. It was here that we fought in a grueling battle, the Demon King turned into a dragon, and we found that the light dragon was in fact Princess Zelda this entire time, and she was turned back into a normal self, which should never have been the case. Princess Zelda sacrificed herself by turning herself into this dragon, and she was very comfortable with the fact that she would never turn back into herself. She did it so the Master Sword could be repaired and that Hyrule could go back to what it was, and to of course defeat the Demon King. But with Rauru and Sonia's powers combined, and also channeling that power through Link, she was able to turn back into Princess Zelda, and Hyrule was saved. Now let's explain what happened towards the end of the game. Now this, of course, there's only a short part towards the ending, and the majority of the game we've just explained, so there won't be too much detail here in terms of what there could be going forward, because the game itself wasn't left on a cliffhanger or anything along those lines. The game was left very rounded off. There were many questions that were answered and things that were answered towards the end of the game, so let's do our best theorising this and just going off the facts in the final cutscene, which you'll see after the credits. Link and the 5 sages did everything that the first initial army couldn't do, and ultimately they went on to defeat the Demon King. The first 5 sages didn't have the Master Sword, and of course originally, if they did have it, maybe the outcome would have been different. But the fact that Link had it, and the fact that Princess Zelda restored it all of that time, meant that it gave Link a fighting chance to defeat the Demon King. The Master Sword was broken at the beginning, and we'd seen that in our first encounter with Ganondorf. But the sword went back through time into the hands of Princess Zelda, and it gave it long enough to restore its power, with Princess Zelda sacrificing herself as this dragon, and Link would pull it out of the head, and that dragon would be traversing through Hyrule this entire time, thousands of years I presume. This was Princess Zelda's plan all along, and it worked like a treat, and she never expected to be turned back into her actual self again. But the power of Rauru and Sonia made that possible, channeling that through Link. In a cutscene at the very end of the game, the Sage of Spirit Minoru brings all of the sages to the top of Hyrule on one of the Zonai constructs, and speaks to them about the future of Hyrule and what they'd just done actually meant. Minoru was finally left to rest, and of course she was just a spirit, so she would go along to be with the likes of Sonia and the likes of Rauru in spirit form and the rest of the ancestors. and each champion that was here right now pledged to fight for Princess Zelda and safeguard the lands of Hyrule. These champions will be around to fight any of the beasts that threaten the lands, and this will most likely be where the next game picks up, or around about that. So I feel like we've done a pretty good job of explaining and summarising everything. As I mentioned at the beginning of this section of the video, the ending of this game isn't left on a cliffhanger. There's nothing that you can kind of theorise or presume. There are a lot of things that were filled in this game in terms of Princess Zelda being the Sage of Time and being able to control and manipulate time. A lot of that was answered throughout the game, and I know that's been an ongoing question for a bit. But there's not a whole lot in terms of telling us where the next game might go. But I would love to know what your thoughts and opinions are on this. What do you think is next for the Zelda franchise? Look, I don't think we're going to get another Zelda game for a very long time. I think Tears of the Kingdom was made as long and as big as it was because it's going to be the game that's around for a long time. And when the new console for Nintendo, which is rumoured to come out within the next year or two, comes out, I think there'll be an upgrade or a port over to that console with Tears of the Kingdom. So I don't think we're going to get a new Zelda game for a long time, maybe the next couple of years. So this one is bulked out in the way that it is to answer all of the questions, and maybe what they'll do is they'll just take Zelda in a different direction, take it in a way that no one's seen before, and have the existing lore there, but also just venture off and do what they've done. Essentially like a reboot of the franchise like they did with Halo and stuff like that. The existing lore is there, but they've now gone into a different direction, introducing new characters and things like that. This game really struggled on the Switch, I won't lie. I was running pretty poor performance a lot of the time, but I didn't really mind it. The game was so good. The console, the Switch, is very old, and it ran a lot better than what I thought it would, to be quite honest. I can't wait to see what's next for Zelda. I can't wait to play this game on the brand new Switch console and Nintendo console when it does eventually come out. I'm not a massive Zelda lore guy, but if you guys know of anything that I've missed in terms of that's very clear as to where Zelda's going to go next, or anything like that around storylines or things like that, I would love for you to let me know down below in the comments. And this community is really good in terms of theorizing and letting everyone know what's what and where things could possibly go. So any theory you've got, leave it down below in the comments. No theory is a crazy one. I love to have a read of them, and I know everyone else in the community does as well, so leave them all down below. But for me, the next game will probably be bigger, involve fighting with the 4 champions again and potentially others around that. Princess Zelda will probably get lost again and we'll have to spend the game finding her, and another Ganon-type monster potentially will be unleashed upon the world. Probably another that's hidden beneath the depths of Hyrule. But again, I don't know if the game is going to stay in Hyrule. Why would it? We've had 2 full games in Hyrule. Hyrule is a part of the larger Zelda universe and world, so maybe we move to another part of the world now. Hyrule has been done in 2 games. Maybe the next Zelda game could be taken to another area of the world, and that's where we have another beast or another monster hidden away, or something like that. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. I'm not a Zelda lore fanatic or lore guru, but I'm sure there's other areas of the world that we can visit and other areas that really suit this, maybe from previous games. So let me know. But that's the ending of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom explained, and also a summary of the game itself, and most of the ending is fueled by the events earlier on into the game, which you've got to piece together and then let it make sense. So the summary is really key to explaining what happened at the end here, so yeah. But as I mentioned, if the video reaches 500 likes, I'll be giving away a couple of copies of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. If we hit 1,000 likes in today's video, I'll also throw in an OLED Switch for someone as well that comments Hyrule down below. So if you comment that down below, then of course you'll be in for a chance to win the copies of the game, and if we hit 1,000 likes, an OLED Switch as well, if that takes your fancy. My previous video is only 400 likes away from 1,000, so if you can go over there, drop a like, it'll be double the chance, just in case you might win. And yeah, like the video as well. But comment Hyrule down below if you want to be in for a chance to win that. If you made it this far into the video as well, lets me know that you guys have made it this far and that you're interested. But I really appreciate all the support in the last couple of videos, and we'll see you all next time.